get started. Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. Welcome to ACDT number 47. Today's August 4th. We have a couple of items in the agenda, starting by Fusaka. So yeah, let's just get started. I'm gonna ask, is Barnabas online? I think so.
Yep.
Hey, yes. Updates on Fusaka devnet 3.
Yeah. Currently, we have two CLs that are struggling on devnet, Nimbus and Lodestar, and also Captain seems to be offline right now. We have 90% participation, so every other client seems to be doing pretty well. The all the initial issues with the CGC values seem to have been resolved. There's only one more issue on Lodestar, where right after the startup, the CGC values are not set according to the finalized epoch in the Genesis state, but I've notified them about this issue. Maybe someone from Lodestar can give us an update in what
Yeah,
is
we're looking
going
at
on.
getting the update for going off the Genesis validator set. We're looking at how we can actually implement that. And then the sync bug, I am still actively working on it. It's been proven to be pretty difficult. We're doing some refactoring in order to just improve the code base because it's what's making it challenging in order to actually get it resolved. But we are actively working on it, and we have a good plan going forward. So we should be there soon.
Right. And on the Nimbus side, we seem to have some supernodes that are having hard time getting peers. So most likely they got rate limited or banned by others. Maybe someone from the Nimbus team can also speak up.
I don't think it's anyone from Nimbus team at the moment. Maybe we can get back to this after they join, if they do. Anything else on the my question is BPO activated? Any BPO activated on devnet 3?
Yeah, all five BPOs have been activated, and we are currently hitting the 20 blobs usually. We had some issues regarding the MEV relay. There's some transaction propagation issues, and hopefully we can get it sorted. But also the builder workflow seems to be working on every single client pair, which is very good.
Anything that we need to test on the MEV workflow for BPO? I mean, I guess it was fine on this, but is there any lesson learned, I guess, from activating BPO on the MEV side? Or was it like smooth?
No, that's pretty smooth. Right now, the major issue on the MEV side is we're trying to create a private mempool, and we send the transactions. The spammer is sending all the transactions to just the MEV relay machine that is running a REST node, and this REST node is unable to share its transaction pool with the R builder, and that's where we are struggling to basically rebroadcast these transactions and include them.
Yeah, I have like basically an update on that. I think so. Yeah, so basically, like the R builder uses ETH new pending transactions, the subscription API to get transactions from the RETH mempool. So we've disabled transaction pool, like local transaction propagation in the RETH node. And today I was just talking to the RETH team, and it's because of that flag, transactions are not being streamed. So we currently have like two ways to get around this right now. One is the R builder has implements ETH raw send transaction. It implements its own JSON RPC server. We can try like sending transactions from Spammer to that RPC to that RPC server, and that doesn't go through the REDS mempool. So that's R builder their own transaction pool if we can. That's one way. Yeah. So, and the other way is like I'm just talking to the red folks, like if they can probably like just like remove that flag and we can implement. So the Reds currently doesn't have a flag to disable transaction gossip. We can somehow get that flag and could probably remove the local transaction propagation flag and things should work. So we currently have like a couple of ways forward. There's some complications with spam, or I guess with directly sending it to the builder, but yeah, we've identified like why transactions are not getting included in the block with when we send only to the MEV relay machine, as Barnabas mentioned. Yeah, and currently like exploring like what are the best ways forward. I think we have like two ways, and I'll see, like I'll give an update like when we finalized on something.
Yes,
Sorry.
Roman?
Yeah, quick question. You said that Red has a flag to disable TXpool local propagation. You said that it's not working.
No, that's working. That's working.
Okay.
I've put in the devnet MEV TG chat. There's a flag for that's implemented for Optimism to disable transaction gossip in the peer-to-peer network, which is
Uh-huh.
not there for the RET like the Ethereum L1 EL, that flag. Maybe like you can have that flag. But yeah, the transaction pool flag to disable local transaction propagation, that was working fine. Like
Okay.
we can follow like Roman, you can follow the chat in the devnet MEV testing TG. I think you have context there. Like.
Thank you. Any other findings on devnet tree from any other clients? Debugging issues or similar? All right. Was that everything that you wanted to share, Barnabas, or was there anything else that you want to touch upon?
Maybe Agnieszka can give us an update now from Nimbus as well, because he just joined the call.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you.
Hi. So we had a couple of issues last week. One was, I think, Das Guardian. We were having a custody column mismatch. So whenever ETH Das Guardian requested us with all columns, if we were a full node, we would return with our custody, the columns we would custody, but surprisingly, somehow the column indices don't match. I think the indices don't match after a couple of validator custody updates. We'll just check into our code if there is some hash function stuff going on such that the indices are being inaccurate after a couple of epochs, because I think we do pass EF test vectors. So I'm trying to look into that. Apart from that, EAS, yeah, the earliest available slot, it was not moving. So right now that thing looks fixed to me. We have a build triggered. I think it should be picked up in DevNet 3 in a while. And general updates, we had MEV issues. They are fixed now. So I think Bharat can confirm, or somebody, maybe Barnabas can confirm. Nimbus is, I think they are proposing MEV block. Yeah, so what else? I don't think anything else. I mean, whatever. Yeah, okay. So there's been an issue being raised in Discord where Nimbus Aragon 1 and Get 1 are having a tough time to sync. And of course, we are basically being asked why are we proposing even when we are not caught up to the head. But I think that's something we have by design. If we are short range syncing and we are like not 2 to 3 epochs away, we don't turn off validator duties. Yeah. So if we are unable to sync, it's definitely a DA or a peering issue. Either we are not getting all the required columns on time, or we are not being able to peer well. So I'm currently looking into that. Nimbus, Aragon 1, Get 1, they have some sort of peering issues. Yeah. So yeah, nothing else from our side. Yeah. Overall, I think there were a couple of peering issues, MEV issues. In DevNet 3, they're all fixed now. And yeah, hopefully I'll fix the Dust Guardian thing by next couple of days. And what else? I think there is a crash Barnabas sent me. It was a seg fault. It's happening in a very specific scenario. Um, I suspect it's happening because of indicating the earliest available slot incorrectly or something of that sort. I'm currently looking into that. So yeah, nothing else from us. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you. Marek?
Yeah, I just want to mention that Nethermind has an early integration with RBuilder, so it would be great if we can try this as well. And by early, I mean, of course, it does require more testing and so on, and it is not being run on production. And also it's like integration with state. So Nethermind can work with RBuilder as a state provider, but it still uses REVM as for execution. So it's only replaces the state. Yeah, but just wanted to mention because I heard some discussion about RBuilder and this kind of stuff. Let me share the link. All right, that's all from my side. Is it fully ready? So as I mentioned, the state is ready. Of course, we would appreciate more testing here, and then that would be great here. And but EVM part is not being done.
Thank you. Yeah. Any other updates from anyone else on any team? If not, yeah, thanks for the updates, and it seems like we're doing fine on Definitely then. What's the follow-up plan here? Do you know, Barnabas? Do we plan to keep Definitely running, and what's the next steps? Or
So ideally, we want to have Nimbus and Lodestar basically bug-free before we go on to the next step. And we have 2 more decisions to make today. And based on that, we're gonna decide if we want DevNet 4 or not.
Perfect. Awesome. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Then let's just move on to the next discussion topic, which is related to EIP 7825, the transaction gas limit cap. There was a discussion on last Thursday about rolling back the cap, rolling up the limit to 30 million instead of the 16 million that we have currently. I think there was an update from the person that shared this on ACDT and whose major concern was raised on ACDT, sorry, on ACDE last week. And I can share that response here. If this person is in the call currently, but otherwise it seems like the main concern is not really concern from the read of the text. Is anywhere here that can elaborate on this? I don't think this person is on the call.
Yeah, maybe I can say a little
Yeah,
bit about it. Yeah, it was a concern that there might be some apps that might be affected. For example, very complex DeFi transactions that go through many different pools. And Plankton brought it up, and that of course it could be a backwards compatibility issues, but it seems like after waiting, the trade-offs, we can just keep it as is, as we have it on devnet free.
Sounds perfect. Any other opinion on this matter, or this is gonna be like a very short discussion? All right. Yeah, if nothing else, I think this is the way to go. We keep the limit in 16 million, which is great news for testing because we don't have to perform the analysis of the testing vectors that are breaking again. So yeah, great. Thanks. All right. Next topic is this is a recurring topic on gas limit testing updates. I think Barry is the main person to reach out to this, or do you have any updates, Barnabas, that you want to share about gas limit testing, or there's nothing to discuss maybe today?
Not from my point of view, no. And I think Paris is unavailable today.
All right, no
The
worries.
only thing
Camille,
which
yeah.
I can chime in, yeah. Hi, Albert, hi everyone. So, yeah, basically we are still trying to achieve the stateful testing being capable, but we are tackling that from various perspectives, and we still need to verify a few things. Marcin also is trying to do some work around our test generators in gas benchmarks to see if this will be any more helpful and will speed up the development. In the meantime, ESTA integration, working with you guys to make it runnable on our infrastructure, and I believe I'm almost done with that. Like I need maybe 1 or 2 more days, just facing some unexpected issues with that. And in the meantime, Pari was discussing with all of the teams, checking our readiness maybe for any other gas limit upgrade in future. So we have another version of GEF, checking if MODEX scenarios are being improved. And in general, I would say yes, a lot of MODEX scenarios are even 2 or 3 times better than it was before, but still the worst cases are not being properly attacked. Maybe there is some tweaks which are need to be added on the adjustment made on GEF. Plus, there are some regressions. So there are scenarios which are performing 50% worse comparing to the previous results. So yeah, so this would be like the major concern about any further increase. But if this will came up being good, which looks like it is right now, but just needs a few more tweaks, then we can consider doing anything forward. But still, also the stateful scenarios are really needed. And also we have a bloatnet which have already stayed on 2x size, and we are preparing for some test cases for some testing. Yeah, so hopefully some results will be this week.
I can also update on the east side. So what we propose on doing there on the stateful testing is, so we have the execute command that we use to run our test in running devnets. And the idea here is that we prepare some test cases where we rely on a contract that has a very large storage or state size to be already present in the chain, which I think is the case for Bloodnet, and a lot of the contracts that are in there. So basically, it's just a matter of updating our repository to receive some flag to point it to the contracts that are already existing there. So it's gonna be it's not a trivial change, but it's also not breaking. But yeah, we'll continue working on that, and we can keep you updated. Marcin, yeah.
Hi, I would like to say that we are developing one more tool to check the potential issues with MODEX repricing. It's RPC endpoint trace block, but with custom spec. So what we are doing, we have a script which is getting a trace from like current chain, so on Vectra, and another one doing the same trace but with Fusaka spec. And we are comparing receipts, the difference in gas usage is expected, but we are trying to check if there will be some other changes like broken contracts, etc. For now, it's I think like proof of concept. It's working, but we didn't perform the actual test yet. But yes, we are planning to do it soon, so we'll keep you updated.
Thank you. Ben?
Would it be 60 million, the next level that we'd consider?
I believe if we'll consider anything, like 60 should be the next step, but we need to perform a lot of testing around that. But yeah, it's small but still significant jump.
Yeah, I think we can prepare testing for next couple of weeks and gather some benchmarks before continuing a decision. Is there anything that you need from the tests side, Camille? A new release, or how are you looking there?
As I mentioned on some of the TG channels, is like new release with new tests, which you added, Luis added around Modex as well, plus change of the gas limits. But this is also like being discussed right now on how many of those we need. But yeah, to unify it a little bit more. And yeah, basically the recurring stuff around Genesis files, which I'm fighting right now. But yeah, well, after being able to run those tests on our infra, I will let you know if there is anything else to be improved. And then from the stateful perspective, yeah, we need to think a little bit more around that and hope to make the workaround. Like execute capability is a good workaround for now, which probably we can use, but will be very time consuming to execute everything properly. But yeah, we just need to figure out also the tool which Marcin is trying to revive and adjust to be able to generate on top of existing state, and the custom Genesis files would be also helpful there. But yeah, we are fighting with that right now. So whenever there will be anything to help us with, I will let you know.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Great. And just bringing this up, surfacing this message from Barry. He kind of speeds right now, but it seems like the Get team would take some time to upstream any of the changes if they decide. Is there anyone from the Get team here that can add a little bit more context to that? Or if not, that's not a problem. I don't see anyone from Get. All right. I think we can just follow this async. All right, cool. All right. I think we can just pass until on the next next discussion topic. Um, I'll I'll leave the intervals per slot discussion topic at the end. We can just jump right into the EIP's 7951 benchmarking results. These were shared from the Besu team. Anyone from the Besu team that would like to expand on this topic?
Hey there. Unfortunately, the folks that are curious about that are in the AUS time zone. This is in reference to the gas improvement that we found with the R1 curve. Is that correct?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't really have anything in addition to add other than the notes that have been posted. Sorry for that.
Yeah, no worries. But it seems to me, I've read through the comment, and it seems to me that it is not a concern of how the new precompile is is what's the cost on it? So it is not, it doesn't seem that it's a concern. Actually, it seems like the cost is too high maybe from the new precompile, but I think that's something that we're willing to discuss today maybe. Yeah, if there's nothing else on this topic, maybe we can continue async.
I think that would be fine. Thank you.
Yeah, all right. Thank you so much. Yeah, with that, I think we can just jump into the intervals per slot. Justin, do you want to take it up?
Yeah, sure. Hello, everyone. I would just like to raise awareness for this PR. I just shared the link. It essentially defines explicit slot component times in milliseconds as a percentage of the slot duration time and as a configuration variable instead of a preset like ETH Panda Ops requested and POTUS. I'm not asking for us to decide on this today, but I would like to make a decision maybe at ACDC whether or not to merge it sooner than like 3 or 4 months from now, so that we can start working on other specifications. It would be beneficial for EPBS, like EFP 7732 and 7782, shorter slot times. It wouldn't actually change anything. It would just add additional configuration values, or sorry, yeah, additional configuration values, but no substantial changes. It would deprecate intervals per slot, but once again, you don't have to stop using that immediately. So I see no reason why we couldn't merge it now. But yeah.
I think the main question here is whether this breaks Fusaka or changes anything in Fusaka.
It really shouldn't, no. I mean, clients might have to update code to handle the new configuration values, but they could essentially ignore them until Clamsterdam or until we start working on Clamsterdam. Yeah, shouldn't. Do clients have any opinions on this, or maybe just look into it and discuss it later? Please leave reviews.
There was another question regarding possibly moving some values from config to presets, especially the number of columns, I think. And if
Yeah,
you
that is a separate issue.
Yeah, it's a separate issue, but I'm just curious if we should actually take a look at all the different config values and consider moving some of them to preset, because I feel like there's more than just one sitting in there.
Yeah, number of columns could be a preset. Probably should be. It also doesn't actually have to exist, since it'll always be the same as cells for extended blob, but it is a nicer variable name.
Yeah, then maybe we can just get rid of the unused variables. It will also just clear things up a bit.
Yep.
And Pawan mentions in the chat that he will review it soon, but it looks good at first glance.
Thank you.
Yeah, if the rest of the teams can just give it a look, and I guess ACDC is the way to continue this conversation and see if it gets merged.
Yes, that's right.
Cool. Yeah, thank you very much. All right. I think that's all of the topics we had today. So I can open up the floor to any other points or discussions we have.
There's one more.
Yeah, I'll share
regarding 4477.
Is this related to? Sorry.
This is related to Fusaka. Basically, the proposal was from Lido to increase the balance per additional custody groups. So basically, every single 128 ETH would increase the number of columns that a validator would need to custody. And they pushed the decision making to today instead of making a decision on Thursday, because it was very last minute on Thursday.
And this would need a new devnet.
Yeah.
Personally, I'm against this change. I think we just keep it out as currently.
Yeah, I think this is the only feature that requires a new devnet, right? It was before this call, it was this and also 7825, but now it's just reduced to this only change for a new devnet. So
That's
with that
right.
in mind, is anybody pro doing this at this call that wants to raise the point?
There was lots of support from different CL devs, so that's why I thought we should probably bring it up again.
I see. I think the moment is now, because otherwise, if we delay this further, I don't think it's gonna be any good to the development process, and it's already too late. So we either someone from the CL that is supporting this speaks up now, or we simply just reject it. If so, if there's anyone in this call that wants to support this, please speak up now.
I just wanted to say that I'm against the change because this is last minute, because we might with BPO scale to a high number, and we think that with the BPOs we will not have a chance to do it later, so we would have to do it now. My take on this is that if we will need these kind of changes, then we should do this together with the BPOs and not quickly now. So that's why I would say don't do it now and be less strict
I'm
on it.
actually super against doing that. I wouldn't want to include anything else in BPOs.
Yeah, if we add this, it would be like a new fork. Actually, I don't see how it could be only BPO.
Yeah, it wouldn't be pros because it's not a block parameter. So by definition, it's not a BPO then. I'm just saying I'm skeptical about BPOs being BPOs because of these and the other things that will come up similar to this.
I think if we say that we're going to reject this from Fusaka, we might consider it for Amsterdam, but not before that. I wouldn't consider any substantial code change for any BPOs.
Yeah, I think that's the general sentiment. Right now, I don't see anyone pro. Agnish? First Agnish, then Nico.
Yeah, so I'm against the change simply because I think if we raise it to 128, the number of supernodes decrease and the number of nodes with a variable dynamic DA of sorts, which would keep swaying based on attached validators, that thing is tricky. Usually, like on a CL implementation level, I have discussed this with multiple people, Jimmy, Manu. Um, it's tricky for all of us to sort of declare DA and keep blocks resolved, unresolved across various stores based on a dynamic DA. I have probably raised concerns about this with Francesco and a lot of other people over the last couple of weeks. I know that okay, we have this design and this design is there for a reason, but I would definitely want to see more supernodes. Hence, I'm against this change. I just don't want more nodes with this swaying dynamic DA condition.
Got it. Nico?
Yeah, just want to bring up that because I saw in Amsterdam we could change the value, but I think since we cannot reduce the CGC, I think this would not be possible, right? Because the existing nodes would just keep the previous custody they had. But I'm also not strongly for this change. I think it's a bit late, and I guess too little analysis is done to do this now, I think.
Thank you. All right. Yeah, it seems like the general consensus is that we do not go forward with this change. So that would mean that we wouldn't have devnet 4. That means that, just going back to the point that was raised earlier by Barnabas, we only need Nimbus and Lodestar to be bug free before continuing. So I guess instead of any changes, we just focus on fixing bugs this week, and we follow up next week with the next steps on this. All right. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Sunnyside Lives, they wanted to share something. Is anyone from Sunnyside Lives here that wants to present?
Yeah, hi. So I think I shared the link a while ago, so I will just reshare it. Yeah, we've just released a new report which contains mainly on high blob loads plus regular transactions and perfect PDOS. So for the first one, we sent high blob throughput on the around 22 million gas, and we were able to find that we could reach up to around 60 blobs per block with that load, and there wasn't big impact on bandwidth usage, so it was going quite well. And then we further limited the bandwidth of each node for both shipper node and full nodes as per EIP 7870 hardware requirements. And the network performed poorly, that it only got 20 blobs per block. But later, Francesco suggested that maybe we should be less restrictive on shipper nodes, that 100 megabits per second for download and 50 for upload is too low. So from next round, we will retest this with unrestricted bounds for shipper nodes. Assuming shipper nodes will be available for 1 gigabit network will be available for shipper nodes. And for the second network, for the perfect PDOS, which is having 16 8 validator nodes uniquely custoding each column, and we were also able to achieve 60 blobs per block on the 22 million gas usage, and also about 30 blobs per block with bandwidth limits. However, we found that Genesis Sync was failing from full approx on perfect PDOS network. So we are looking into it, but it seems like there are only 8 peers on sync nodes, and the sync nodes are trying to find the columns their peers don't have, and it just fails at the very early stage at full. We also did backfield test on Teku. We found an issue, reported to the Teku team, and they are now fixing it. We also would like to test other CL's backfill once they are ready. And very lastly, for Nimbus and Lodestar, please let us know when you guys are ready for block throughput testing and other validator custody tests that we have. Because for Nimbus, I heard that Nimbus is having pending optimizations so that high block throughput isn't available yet. And for Lodestar, full nodes are subscribing to more than 8 validators, nearly as same as super nodes. So please let us know when it's ready. Yeah. Sorry, I saw hands up. So
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah,
sure
please.
who was first. Yeah.
Yeah, Manu was first, and then Agnish. Thank you.
Hi. I can quickly give an explanation about perfect peerless, about thinking in perfect peerless, why it fails and why at least Prism fails. So by the definition of perfect peerless, a node has absolutely zero peer custodying the same column than the node. So if you start from Genesis or even from a checkpoint, then you want to fetch some columns, and you don't find any peer. So the only possibility you have as a node is to retrieve any 64 columns, any one of them from your peers, and then reconstruct the column you need. Prism doesn't do that currently. We are working on it. Target is this week, and the end of this week. And I'm not sure that a lot of other clients already implemented this feature, thinking in perfect peerless.
Yeah, we also tested Lighthouse and Grandine, and Lighthouse doesn't seem to sync any Fulu slots, while Grandine, I think Grandine also stops at very early Fulu epoch.
Actually, I think everybody can sync Fulu, but without any blob. So the condition which is not okay now is post Fulu with blobs. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Agnish?
Yeah, so currently Nimbus supports up to 50, I think 52 blobs from the last test that Sunnyside Labs ran. So is there an actual priority to actually work on optimization that can raise up like upwards of 50 right now, like for Fusaka? I just wanted some clarity on that because yeah. Okay, go ahead.
But I didn't say that was a stable achievement. That the change just failed after that slot, right?
Right.
So
But
I'd say 40 plus is a safe margin for Nimbus when we tested at that time. But are we targeting something higher? At least for in the ideal devnet scenarios, I think we should get something higher.
But do we actually need something above 40 for Fusaka mainnet? Like that's the open question. I'm not sure.
I think someone else could clarify this.
Yeah, exactly. If someone else can let me know, because this work can be done, it's just not on priority. So, yeah.
I'm gonna pick on you, Barnabas. Do you feel like this is a requirement for next devnets or main shell forks, or
That really depends on what kind of BPO values we expect to do before Amsterdam. We haven't really gone down the rabbit hole of deciding BPO values yet. I think that's going to be a totally different question, but I would expect that we want to be able to do 72 blobs before Amsterdam.
So it feels like right now it would not be a blocker because we have not decided on BPO, but before deciding on BPOs, we have to have this working, right?
Yeah, I mean, we don't need to ship right now 72 blob support, but technically, without any physical hard fork, we should be able to scale up to 72.
Okay. Manu?
Yeah, sorry. I have not.
Your hands. Yeah, sorry,
sorry.
hand was...
No, it was because it was before.
Ah,
so thank you. Actually, yeah. The question. There is some question in chat about thinking in perfect PeerDAS. Francesco is asking if do we really need this thinking in perfect PeerDAS mode. I think we need. I mean, I will be more comfortable launching Fulu with this feature because I think that even if supernodes are really helpful, I think a node should be able to think even without any supernode in its peer. Maybe because not enough supernode will be in the network. Maybe supernodes will reject incoming peers, and so that's why I think that we should be able to think in perfect PeerDAS mode.
Yeah,
All right.
adding some data that I got, which is also mentioned in the report. But what I saw was what we could guarantee so far was that with the tested CLs, for the first 1,000 slots, every node seemed to have their columns correctly. So, but it would be definitely feeling much more safer to have this feature, an imperfect PeerDAS sync available.
Okay. And there's another comment from Francesco. Francesco, do you want to raise this comment or?
Yeah, I mean, basically, what you're saying that I'm not saying that you necessarily need to have, or like, I wouldn't expect that. Okay, let me backtrack a second. Yeah, I wouldn't want the requirement that you need a supernode in your peers. That's not what I'm saying. More just I'm wondering if it is reasonable to expect things to work when you don't have anyone in your peers that has the columns that you want. And not only you don't have in your peers, but you cannot find someone in the network to be your peer that has those columns. Like, I just don't understand how you would even exist in the network afterwards. Like, you want columns, 1, 7, and 8, and you can find anyone that wants those columns. That look like also kind of has those columns and generally wants those columns. Like, you could maybe get the other ones and sync by doing this trick of getting more of them and reconstructing, but eventually you'd just not be able to keep going on the network.
So you're basically saying that a full node shouldn't be required to reconstruct in order to sync.
It's just unclear to me that there is necessarily that much value to it. Like, seems to me that if you cannot find anyone that is willing to give you the columns that you have a much bigger problem. Like, you're just, even if you manage to solve the kind of immediate problem by doing this reconstruction thing, that still doesn't seem like it leaves you in any kind of a good position. Like, in this perfect PeerDAS setting, that's maybe okay because yeah, by design there isn't anyone that has your columns, and I don't know, the only you have like, yeah, you'll be like alone in your topic, and you basically, I guess, you just receive the columns directly from the block proposer every time. But like in a realistic setting, that doesn't really make sense for you to just like exist independently without anyone that that you connect with in the topics that you care about.
All right. Just for zoom out a little bit, it seems like we don't have the capability right now to go up to 30 plus blobs for Fusaka. So we don't need this feature right now, but we do need to ensure right now that we are gonna perform this testing again the moment that we want to increase the BPO limit, right?
This has nothing to do with that, as far as I
Okay.
understand. Like, it doesn't matter if you have 4 blobs or 30 blobs or 300 blobs. If your full node cannot reconstruct and sync up using columns with erasure coding, then that's a totally different topic. That's a perfect PeerDAS topic now.
All right. Then, do we have any other opinions on other CLs about this matter? How do they feel shipping Fusaka without this salt? Yeah, Agnish?
So if a full node chooses to reconstruct because it doesn't find the accurate peers, I don't know how is that a problem, because if it catches up to head, then it just again progresses normally, right? From like by getting columns from either the blob pool or the proposer, no? I mean, yeah, I mean, uh, it's a problem when it's syncing, of course, but reconstruction has several sort of guarantees to end, let's say, the DA of a slot within a given time frame. So I would obviously prefer reconstructing than actually actively going and trying to find peers, because I think the latter would take me more time. Yeah, I agree with Manu, actually.
All right. It feels like the sentiment right now is that we do need this feature. Is my reading correct?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So yeah, I would like the CLs to speak up and say how much time do they need to get this implemented. It seems like it's a blocker issue for Fusaka. Any other CLs that have not expressed anything today about this issue?
We don't
Please
have
speak up.
we don't have this feature right now, but I think like we have the mechanism to implement this. So have to look into I'll have to look into it. I'll take a look this week, and by next week I'll have something ready, or like at least know how long it'll take.
Thank you. Anybody else? All right. I feel like this is pressing enough that we have to talk about it again on Thursday. Please, to the rest of the CL teams, please look into how much time it would take to implement this, because it seems like it's a blocker issue and we need to talk about this on Thursday. So we can touch upon the topic yet there again and see raise the status. Does that sound okay for everyone?
Yeah, and if you guys need testing, we can just launch new devnets at any time for this. Please let us know.
Thank you. Excellent. All right. Thank you. Is there anything else that we need to talk about right now? Any other issues?
Backfield.
Sorry? Backfield. Okay.
Backfield, yeah. I'm curious if any clients have implemented Backfield for Blobs.
Manu says Prism is in progress. Same from Lighthouse.
Lodestar is actively working on it, but it's a pretty big body of work like everybody else.
Do we want to actually wait for Backfield implementations to be done before we launch DevNet 4, in case we do want to launch DevNet 4?
It seems so.
It would be good if we had at least 2 clients that have done it, and then we could test those at least, and then we can actually go on with the shadow fork and whatnot. Could we get like an ETA on when clients think they would have Backfield implemented?
Any of the clients? Is this a bandwidth issue, or is it like something intrinsically complex about the feature that anyone wants to share?
I would like to go ahead. So, the issue with backfill is more of a CPU usage thing, I would say. Like, it really depends on how quick do we want to get this backfill done. Like, if we want to get it quick enough, then we are basically allocating a significant amount of the CPU to do this thing rather than focus on, let's say, increasing. Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, okay. So rather than focus on, let's say, higher blob count or a bit more stressed environment when Follow is actively running. So yeah, that is one. Second is, while the backfilling, do we really want to advertise earliest available slot in a really very granular way, or are people just doing it something like, let's say, when backfilling is in progress, I just keep it at a local head slot, and then when backfilling is done, I again push it back to the slots behind. I was really curious about this. Some of the current crashes in Nimbus is because we are trying to handle the earliest available slot in a very granular way. Like every slot we complete backfilling, we want to update the earliest available slot that way. It's just more helpful for the network. I know there's no incentive, but yeah. So I was really curious about that as well.
Yes, Pawan?
Yeah, for us, like we fetch the earliest available slot from our database. So every time backfill updates, the earliest available slot in our backfill, uh, basically what we advertise also updates simultaneously. So at least for us, like we basically had to change our DB a little bit to add that particular earliest available slot point. So right now it isn't a problem for us to keep updating it after every backfill batch is processed.
Thank you. We have less than a minute left. Agnish, do you want the response or?
Yeah, just a question for Pawan. What is an average backfill batch size? I'm just curious.
It's one epoch for us.
Okay. Okay.
All right, we are out of time. I think we're gonna close it now, and thanks everyone for joining. Please, on ACDC this Thursday, we need updates on perfect beer dust syncing. So please, teams focus on that. And thank you everyone for joining, and yeah, have a good week.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.